not stuck in the rain today.
I know this is probably the first time it hadn't rained in a while when we've talked. What's going on? Yeah.
If you're going to be starting the opener, who would you like to know? Like, is it okay to go into the last few weeks situation up in the air?
Yeah, I mean, whenever the team decides, I'm going to go out there every single day and give it everything I have. You know, we're getting ready for the preseason game, so just getting ready to go versus the Browns. And that's what I really focus on the moment, focus on now. And, you know, got to experience, you know, being a backup the last several years where I never really knew when I'd play. And so I have experience with this. So whatever is needed of me, I'll be ready.
Given what happened last game, are you surprised that you're able to go in this one? And what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm excited. My body feels great. I'm very fortunate with my shoulder. You know, I was excited to play in that game. It had been the first time to play since the Super Bowl. And, you know, going into this game, just settling down. I mean, I've always said, like, for me, the game is just such a feel. Like, just getting back in the huddle, getting reps, playing a game, feeling the environment, feeling game day. Because as an athlete, every athlete can tell you, like, what you feel, like, your body knows it's game day. So getting to feel that and feel it again in the preseason just gets you acclimated, ready to go for the season. That's why, you know, that's how I use the preseason, is getting ready, going out there playing with the guys, stepping in the huddle, obviously getting on the same page with new personnel. But, you know, I just look forward to going into the game and, you know, just playing football.
Has some help this week too with, you know, the Thursday play at half or so, you know, it's just a little over quarters, you have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Kind of with everybody.
For sure. I think that, you know, getting into rhythm does take time. And, you know, sometimes it's tough when you only have a few series, but that's sort of how it is. So everyone can play. There's a method to the madness. So I think just having a half, getting out there, moving the ball, running our offense, I think it'll be great for us.
Has there been any explanation as to why you had kind of the reaction that you had with your shoulder and how you were able to recover so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it happened, you know, my shoulder got sort of jarred, shoulder socket, so there's definitely soreness the next couple of days. But I had this one surgically repaired in 2007, so it was a similar hit in 2007, a little bit more aggressive my senior year of high school that caused my shoulder to sublux, and ultimately had it repaired. But, you know, I think with that, you feel something, and you know, it scares you at first and your arm gets jarred, but once the sideline, the strength was great. They checked it out, and that's why I told y'all after the game I wasn't too worried, because you play this game long enough, you're going to get banged up, you're going to have different things going on. So I was very optimistic going in to the next day meeting with the trainers, and, you know, ultimately the shoulder's great. It's felt great all week. I haven't missed a day of practice and throwing the ball well.
Nick, big picture, do you have a sense of what this offense can do when the regular season begins?
You know, I think that's what we're doing right now. We're creating that identity. We're finding that identity. It's a new year, new guys, you know, different situation. So that's why we go out here and work every single day. But we have a lot of talent. Ultimately, right now, it's just, you know, developing the relationship with the younger guys, you know, getting our guys healthy so they can be back out there. But it can be a special offense. We have a lot of talent and an amazing, you know, offensive line that can, you know, like I've said before, just unbelievably talented, most athletic offensive line in the game. So there's a lot of great things we can do, but, you know, we really have to every single day, you know, work hard to, you know, build those relationships so we can get ready to go come season.
The first team offense really hasn't been able to do much in the first two preseason games. What do you see there? What has to happen Thursday?
I think it's just rhythm. You know, it's playing the game. You know, I think a great analogy is at the end of the season last year, I think everyone was talking about why our offense couldn't move the ball and do different things, and everyone started freaking out. The game of football is very unique. It's a rhythm game. There's a rhythm to our drops. There's a rhythm to the pass protection, to routes. Everything's timed up. It's actually like a beautiful dance. It just takes time. And that's where, like, I'm not going to freak out. You're never going to see me freak out. I'm going to go play. We're going to continue to work in the huddle. You know, we're going to continue to build those relationships. And, you know, I'm just excited to go play with the guys to continue to build that relationship, the camaraderie, to where, you know, we can get things going. We can get things moving. Trust me, we want to score every time we touch the ball, but, you know, we have to do the little things right to do that.
With you and Carson splitting the reps 50-50 right now, it obviously means one of you isn't getting a lot of reps with the first team. How do you overcome that and get on the same page with some of those guys?
I think the big thing is when you get reps, obviously you're in it, you do make it as game-like as possible, And when, like say Carson's in or he's getting reps, I'm watching him, I'm playing the game, I'm doing, I've been a backup the last couple of years. I've also been a starter a long time. So like I've learned to take the mental reps even when someone else is in, so I can sort of build that database of plays. Now, getting on the same page, I mean, you're able to throw with guys on the side and get in the same page, talk to them. Talking's important because there's different ways you want routes run, what you're looking for. But it's not hard to do. I mean, it's really not that hard. So that's what we're doing right now.
You, before you got tweaked with your shoulder Thursday night, you were kind of high and wide, it looked like, with some throws. What were you doing? Was there something mechanical there that?
I just sort of missed. I missed. I watched the film, let him go a little high. I was excited to be back out there. I think people forget that, there's an emotional aspect to this game. And I was excited to be out there, and I knew it would take me a little bit to calm down. Just because the last time I had played was a Super Bowl. And that's not an excuse. I knew it going into the game. I knew after I threw my first throw that I threw it out of bounds. And I was like, all right, just get the feel for the game, calm back down. Because any athlete will tell you, like, that's how it is. That's how you play the game. Like, you're going to feel those emotions. That's why we love playing the sport. But the last drive I started feeling, making some throws, starting to feel the game. Game started slowing down, seeing things, felt more accurate. But yeah, I mean, shoot, if I hit a couple of those underneath routes, we're probably in a different situation. But it was good to experience that then so I can learn from it.
Getting back to what you were saying about developing rhythm, I mean, obviously you've been out there, but some of your top receivers have not. Do you kind of just go back to like the rapport you developed with them last year when you played, or is it something you need to develop again? I mean, how does that work?
I think it's both. I think that we obviously played together last year. We understand, they understand how I throw the ball, how Carson throws the ball, and Nate throws the ball. We understand how they run routes, but ultimately, like when they get back, there will be a little rust a couple of days of practice. Like that's just part of it, and that's where you work through it. You can continue to talk through it. If there's a route in practice when you're running and it doesn't quite look like it should, we'll pull them to the side. We'll run the route until we get it right. So I'm sure that we'll have to work through those little kinks, but that's, we've always had to do that. Since I played the game of football in Pop Warner, that's how it always is. So we'll just keep doing what we do till we're on the same page.
Gibson has shown some good chemistry with Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, and how do you get that chemistry going with him?
Oh, Gibby, he's really grown the last year. I'm really proud of him. I think Nate's done an amazing job giving him opportunities to make catches. I think with him, he's a big guy. We're just talking to him how you want his route run when he's running different routes. Obviously, he's great at the go ball. He's got a lot of speed, and he's shown that during the preseason. But all the different routes, the different break points, where we expect him to be out of his break. Because he's a younger guy, and some of these things might be newer to him, just making sure he understands the same page, and he's great at learning it. So I think he's done an amazing job this preseason. I think he's made some big plays for us and run some great routes.
The experience of last year, where the end of the regular season maybe isn't as smooth, and then turning in the postseason that you had. Now going forward, when you have a bad throw or a bad series or a bad game, I mean, was that meaningful? Can you kind of feel it mentally, something different than maybe a year ago?
No, I think, it's not even just last year. I think when that was going on, I wasn't freaking out. I think everyone else was, but not in this facility. But, I mean, y'all wrote a lot of articles. I mean, I got asked the questions, and I had a database of information for my entire life of when I played football, and it wasn't always great things. There was a lot of great moments, but there was a lot of moments where I threw interceptions. I didn't have good games. I made mistakes. I was benched. I was released. So you sort of use everything you've learned to hone in on like that moment and just allow yourself to like see the reality of it and handle it to the best you can and realize like, all right, obviously I didn't play well against Oakland or against Dallas, but I had this time to go back to the film, get back to the fundamentals, and get to where I can play well because I know I have that in me. And a lot of that time, that's just talking to your teammates, talking to your coaches, getting on the same page, building it, and then going out there every day and working hard and preparing. So I think that I just learned from all the different situations how to handle it. It wasn't just the Oakland thing. Obviously that wasn't great, but I wasn't worried.
How do you mentally navigate the uncertainty that comes with, that you're going to be in this game on Thursday.
Yep.
Beyond that, you don't really know when the next snap is coming,
For sure.
if it's coming. How do you handle that?
I mean, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for anyone in my situation. There's been a lot of people that, you just don't know. And I think that that's where, I told y'all during the playoffs, like just staying in the moment, like really focusing on today in this moment because that's all I can control. And it's hard at times. There's times where your mind wanders and then you start dealing with it, but that doesn't help you. It just takes you off the moment and what you need to do right now. And that's what I'm really focusing on, especially in training camp. I mean, training camp's a grind. We've all, gone through it. Any athlete will tell you, like, it's a grind. So really just focusing on the moment, doing what I can right now to prepare for the Browns, getting ready to go. And then that sort of alleviates all the different anxieties that you may face.
I was talking to Wiz today. He said one of the things he thinks is that you never let yourself get sort of too high or too low, even if the offense isn't going well or is going well or whatever. Do you think that sort of helps in terms of, just dealing with all the everything?
Yeah, I think that's sort of how I play. I mean, everyone has a different philosophy and how they lead, and I think the most important thing is just to own who you are. For me on the football field, it's always never get too high, too low, because that's just not how I am. I want to be calm, cool, collected. Now, I feel things inside. Trust me, if I throw a pick or something, I'm feeling it inside. But I don't want to show it outside because it'll affect my teammates. If I throw a touchdown, I want to celebrate, but then the game's not over. So stay calm, cool, collected, keep talking. Now, that's me on the football field. I'm not always like basketball court, I wasn't that way. So different sports, brings out different in me. But yeah, I think that's a big thing is I'm really owning who I am, and I think the guys understand that. And I think it resonates in the huddle, and I'm not being fake, and I think that's very important in this game.
What would be a successful showing for the first team offense on Thursday?
I think for us just to go out there and just let it loose, just play ball, move the ball, get the comfort of the game, the feel of the game. Obviously we want to put points on the board and all that. That's generalities. I think for all of us just to get back to what we were doing, the rhythm of the game, where we know we can move it and we don't hurt ourselves with penalties, with turnovers and stuff like that. Just play clean Eagle football like we know we can do. I think that's that's what we're striving for each and every day.
Okay. Thanks. One more. I'm sorry, Mike Wallace. Have you gotten to work with him enough? It seemed like you guys didn't mesh on 2 or 3 throws there early against New England.
Yeah. Mike and I are getting a lot of work in. I think he's doing a great job out there. He's got a different speed. He's a new receiver. This is our first time working together, but we work towards it every single day, whether it's during a team drill, talking when the scout team's going, talking through different routes, or if we need to get a route on the side or pre-practice. That's this time of year. That's what we do, and I think he's doing a great job of that. Thank you all.